Marketing Your Private Practice is a podcast where you'll learn easy to implement tips and strategies to grow your business without spending all day online. I'm your host, Kathy Colaiacovo, and I teach practitioners the Thrive marketing method to create simple and streamlined plans by focusing on long-term strategies, not just social media. Discover ways to spend less time on your marketing, attract more clients, and build the financial freedom that comes with a thriving practice. One where you have time left in your day for the people and things that matter to you. Hey, private practice heroes. Thanks for tuning into the podcast today. I'm your host, Kathy Colaiacovo, and today we're breaking down something that surprises almost every client I work with. It's what I call the client booking path, the hidden places that people are checking before they decide to reach out to you. Most private practice owners miss this completely, but once you understand how clients actually find your contact information, you start to see the real role your website and online directories and your Google business profile are all playing in getting discovery calls booked. And that insight can completely change how you plan your marketing. You might think that clients just email you, or they just book in your calendar, or they just make a phone call to you. But when you trace where that contact information actually lives and how they found it, you start to see the real role that all of these different avenues of your digital profile are playing in whether or not you book those consults with people that have somehow found you. And knowing this and understanding it changes how you build that marketing plan for your private practice. Most people that I talk to assume where their clients are finding them online. I hear this all the time in my Thrive coaching circle and in my private calls with clients. I don't think people really go on my website, or they'll say, I get most of my clients from referrals, or they just usually email me. Sometimes they'll tell me their clients' consults are coming because they book directly in their calendar. Okay, I get it. But then I ask one simple question. Have you actually looked at your last 10 clients and traced exactly how they got to you? Not just how they contacted you, but where the contact information was sitting online before they reached out to you. Because that knowledge, that is where everything shifts. And I'll be honest, most people are not tracking anything. They're assuming that they're getting clients from referrals, or that they're, finding them off Google, wherever it might be. They're not really understanding the path that people are taking to get to that booked call or to the phone call. And when you assume, you're going to misread your own data that's right there in front of you. So how do you trace these paths? How do you figure out where that discovery call really came from? Well, here's what typically happens when I do this exercise with one of my clients. We'll pull up the last 10 consults that they had. And this is how it typically goes. They'll say that client number 1 just booked directly in their calendar. And they'll say to me, see, they didn't use my website. They booked in my calendar. And so I'll ask, okay, where is your booking link located? Oh, it's on my website. Exactly. So then the next time they'll look at it, sometimes people will say to me, well, they didn't use my website. They just emailed me directly to book a call. Okay. So then I'll say, where is your email address listed publicly? On your contact page, on your Health Profs profile, on your Psychology Today profile? How about your Google business page? The email doesn't magically appear in their inbox. They had to have found it somewhere. So when you go back and you trace where they found it, you get an idea of where they actually were in order to reach out and email you. Another example is people will say, well, they just phoned me. Okay, but where's your phone number listed? I'll be honest, it should be on your website, but a lot of people don't have it there. A lot of times I'll find people have it in some of those online directories because they force you to put it there, but you don't force your own self to put your own phone number on your website. I do think it's important, if you do have a website and a phone number, that you should put it on there, because sometimes people will just call. Sometimes they're in such dire need that they'll make a phone call to try and get a discovery call booked or to even just sign up with you. Same thing with your Google business profile. Oftentimes there's a phone number over there as well. When you go back and you trace where they came from, the booking path that people are taking, you'll often find that initial contact method is not the actual source of those discovery calls and their leads. Just because someone books directly in your calendar doesn't mean your website wasn't the bridge. If it's the only place where they can click and book directly in your calendar, it actually is the bridge. It is the path that they took. If someone picks up the phone and calls you, it doesn't mean your online presence didn't influence the decision. And once we go through this, practitioners often see and they realize how much of a role their website, number one, is playing, but even the other spots, those online directories and the Google business profiles, they see the real path where they're booking these new clients from. And what actually is happening is a little bit different than most people assume. So oftentimes people will say, well, I get a lot of referrals. Okay, so people hear about you. Maybe it's from a doctor, a therapist, a friend. Maybe they saw your name on an insurance panel or a directory. Somebody told them about you. They heard about you one way or another. So what do? If they don't have a way to reach you, they're probably going to Google your name once they know your name. More often than not, your website is going to come up first, or probably, to be honest, your LinkedIn profile if you have it optimized really well. They're going to Google you and check out your website. They're going to scan your homepage. They're probably going to look at the About page to check you out a little bit more. They may or may not hit the services page, and then they decide they're going to reach out to you because they want to work with you. So that's how they choose to contact you. They've heard about you, they've verified who you were, and now they want to reach out and contact you. So they click on your contact page and try to figure out how they can reach out. If you have followed along with my podcast and have paid attention to the episode that's all about optimizing your contact page, then hopefully you have optimized your contact page. If you don't know what one that is, I will put a link to it in the show notes wherever you're listening in here today. But what happens if they get on your contact page is they're going to look for how to reach you. They're either going to click that book a call button and go directly in your calendar. They're going to fill out the contact form and send you an email, or maybe they copy your email address and email you directly, or they'll call you and pick up the phone and dial your phone number. But when you look back at it later, most people just see what they saw at the end, what they saw when people contacted them. Oh, they emailed me, they booked directly, they phoned me. And you've missed the entire digital path that influenced their decision to reach out to you. This is why your website is not optional in a strong marketing plan for a private practice, not as far as I'm concerned. It is the central hub. It is the base of everything you do. You need to consider it your storefront as if you had a brick and mortar store out there. Your website is key to everything. Even referral marketing depends on your digital presence and your website and your Google business profile and your directories that you have out there. People who refer you send people to you, but oftentimes someone will need to search you out to reach out because not everybody's handing over a business card, especially today in the virtual world we're at. People typically don't have them. So they'll tell somebody, oh, you need to go see so-and-so. They're a dietitian, or you need to see so-and-so. They're a therapist. They're going to help you out. This is why people go online to find out how they can reach out to you, and they're checking you out in the process because they want to verify who you are and that referral what actually made sense before they reach out and contact you. That path of finding you online could be that they found you on Google. Maybe they saw your business page in the Maps app. Maybe your name's on an insurance website as a provider whose services might be covered, or they saw your profiles on Psychology Today or Health Profs or Dietitian Near Me, wherever it is. And they've used that information to reach out and contact you. In all of these situations, before they make contact, they were somewhere, somehow getting that information. And that somewhere is a key foundation for all of your marketing plans. Because when you understand this real booking path, your private practice marketing strategy becomes a lot more clear, I'll be honest. You stop saying, I need more visibility, or I need to post more content online, or I need to be on another social media channel. And instead, you start asking yourself, is my website up to date? Is my contact information on there? Does my Google business profile have everything that it should? And is it optimized? Are my services listed consistent across the directories? Is my specialty listed in the directory? If you find that you're getting contacts who are asking you about services that you don't do anymore, have you checked that one of those directories doesn't have out of date services? And most importantly, is your message that's on your homepage, the marketing message you have, clear and strong about who you are and who you help and how they can contact you? Meaning, is your booking link very easy to find? Because if all of this is confusing or outdated or inconsistent, it impacts whether or not someone is going to book that consult with you. And this is why I teach that your website is one of the core foundations of your marketing. And if you haven't listened to episode 82 of my podcast yet, it's the one where we talk about the 5 core website pages that you need for your private practice or business. And episode 83 also talks about the 3 overlooked website pages that help drive client growth. If you haven't listened to those, go back and listen to them. I'll put some links to them in the show notes. They both explain how these core pages on your website influence the path that new clients take before they book a consult with you or before they decide to sign up and do business with you. When you trace that client path first, those episodes will hit a little bit differently. You'll be listening to them and thinking, oh, I understand now why my website is just not a page on the internet. It's the decision-making tool that a lot of people use and make that final decision of, I want to talk to this person and I want to work with them. All right. So I have a couple action steps for you from today from all of this information. Because here's a few things that I want you to do this week to strengthen your marketing foundations, to help improve the booking path that you have for people coming to you and being told about you and people finding you online. I want you to pull up your last 10 consults that you had. And for each one of them, I want you to go through them and ask yourself, how did they first hear about me? How did they reach out to me? What did they likely do to get to that point, however they did reach out to you? And then think back on the path for each of them, depending on what way they reached out. Where's your booking link located? Where's your email listed? Where's your phone number listed? Look at how they reached out to you and trace that path back and understand where every one of those 10 consults came from. That information is going to guide your marketing in the future, because if you're finding that all of them probably got you because it was a unique link that you had on your Google business profile, then that tells you something. If you're seeing that somebody reached out because they got the email form off your contact page on your website, 100%, they were over there. So how did they get there? And you know that they got there, so you need to go back to that page and look at it and make sure it is optimized as much as possible. Then I want you to go and Google yourself. I want you to put your name in. I want you to put it in with your city. And you can put your title if you want, like dietitian, therapist, psychologist. You don't have to, but test it out. Test it with your city and test it without your city. And then I want you to see what comes up and check every listing and make sure that the contact information is current, because if you just found it, so can other people. Make sure your website info is up to date, your Google business profile, your health profs, your Psychology Today, any insurance panels you're on, and your social media profiles. Don't skip those. Sometimes people will find you from there. They need to have your business information on it too, to ensure that they can reach you for your business. And then step 3, I want you to make sure your messaging is aligned in all of those places. The overall marketing message you have, the list of your services, your phone number, your booking link. And all of this should not take you weeks to do and get updated. It's a 60, maybe 90-minute cleanup job, and it will strengthen your marketing foundations immediately. And when you do this, you'll stop that guessing and you're starting to build your marketing plan based on real data. Because before you decide you need more marketing, before you assume that referrals aren't working, and before you think that social media is the problem you're not getting clients into your practice or your business, go back and trace the path of your discovery calls and those new client reach outs. You might just discover that your website and the online directories are already doing the heavy lifting and helping people find you. But what might be broken is that you need to be more clear and more consistent with the information that you have on your own online foundations. Update all of those spaces so that when people land there, because you know they will, and when they do, that everything they find will help them take that next step with you. I want you to stop assuming and start tracking. And this is Kathy Colaiacovo signing off, saying thanks for tuning in today. And remember, to thrive in practice means knowing exactly how clients find you and using that information to help you focus your marketing in the areas and in the places where people are actually finding you before they book. I'll see you next time. You can find all of our show notes and resources mentioned at marketingyourprivatepractice.com. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram at pepperitmarketing and say hi. I'd love to hear any feedback you have, and make sure to rate and review the podcast and hit subscribe on your favorite player so you don't miss any future episodes.